Cindy, she, her in Belgium. Cindy would like to talk about the 10 Commandments. Cindy, can you hear us okay?
Hi, guys. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Long time.
Hey.
So what's on your mind about the 10 Commandments today?
So recently I've seen several shows, calling shows, talking about the 10 Commandments and, the different questions around this. And one of the questions was if you had to write 10 Commandments, what would it be? And I noticed that all the responses were like individual, like you should do this, you shouldn't do that. And like, for example, when you have you shall not steal, I keep thinking about why don't we say you should build a society where stealing is not necessary? Like you should not, you should honor your father and mother, and instead, why don't we say you should build a society where parents and kids are protected? Like, why do you think the idea, everyone is thinking about individual commandments instead of help build a society, because we are humans, we're social species, and the commandments should be about what kind of society we build, and not just about control like it is now.
Right. So you bring up an interesting point there. If we're talking about an all-powerful creator of the universe, all-powerful and all-knowing creator of the universe, rather than create the universe and then say, don't do this thing or don't do that thing, why not create a situation where those things couldn't happen or where they wouldn't happen, right? Is that kind of what you're saying, Cindy? Or are you saying, why don't the people work? Why don't we as individuals being commanded by an all-powerful creator, why don't we work to avoid those, or what exactly is your spin on that?
Is psychologically, why are we driven to impose individual commandments instead of collective ones?
Well, collective, we make laws because we want to try and have some structure in our life. But commandments specifically, as in the 10 Commandments, I don't believe we should have commandments of that type because they are moral absolutism, and I don't believe in moral absolutes. I believe that every situation should be judged within a moral framework that we agree on, but should be judged on its own merits. And that's what, ideally, law and justice is about. It isn't always. But that's why we have things like precedent and case law, and you can retry things, and why things can get overturned, and laws can be repealed and replaced and updated, because every single person's morality is a little bit different. I may very much align with you on almost every moral issue, but we may have disagreements. So we have to try and have those Venn diagrams of everyone's morality overlap as best as possible. And that's how we come up with our laws and justice system. But if you're talking about a command from on high, these are our commandments that must not be broken, I don't think that that's a healthy concept for any civilization. I don't think commandments as a concept should exist.
Yeah, I would add on that, and I would say if you do have a commandment-based morality or legal system, or whatever level we want to approach this on, if it's based off of authoritarianism is what we're talking about here. We're talking about divine commands. We're talking about commands literally given to us from above. I mean, there's some drawbacks to that. Then if you misunderstand what those commandments are, you might have the best intentions of doing what's good and what's productive and what's helpful to the world. You could be doing damage just because you are you're not in a position where you can actually evaluate what's going on. You either do it or you're wrong, kind of a thing. You know, if you don't follow this commandment, you're doing something wrong, and it's cut and dry, black and white. No questions asked. But if you have more of a situation, which I think, Cindy, is what you're promoting here, if you have a more of a situation where you speak more in generalities, and then the specifics can be derived from those generalities. And I'm a math teacher in my day job, and we talk about that a lot. We talk about starting out with a general idea, and then you can often derive specifics from that generality. But going from the specifics to the generality can be challenging and can be fraught with errors and mistakes. Is that kind of what you're getting at, Cindy, or are you thinking something a little different than that? What is your take on this?
My take is that it's twofold. The first one is it shows how the Christian God is here to control people and not to help them get a good life, and we see that in many regards. But this idea of commandments, it's transparent here that this is the case. The other idea is that us humans, and more specifically us atheists talking to theists regularly, we integrated so much this idea that commandments exist, and that a lot of people live their lives according to them, that we don't even think about guiding our lives in a different way when we try to actually think about it.
Yeah, it seems that the justifying those decisions and justifying those laws or morals based off of a God, to me, almost seems like a cop-out. It seems like a lazy way of approaching it. Just say, oh, I'll just do whatever they say to do. It's kind of a way of avoiding the issue. And some of the things that, Cindy, that you're bringing up about developing humanity and society in general, rather than, it seems we're mostly focused on a control issue. You said the word control, and I think that's a key difference. Commandments are about control and obedience. Whereas if you had a different approach, that would be more consequent based. We want to do what's best. We want to do what's going to be helpful and not harmful, and that kind of thing. And so I think that does point out a very big difference between a control and obedience based, quote unquote, morality and an altruistic or consequentialist approach to morality. Yeah.
And when building systems of control, it is far easier to make those commands personal. Thou shalt not, thou shalt, rather than we, you, yes, you won't do this. You will do this, because it's scary. It's like you're being individually targeted. So you must obey. So it makes sense in the context of ancient civilizations using a concept of God to build a system of control to keep people in line, which was probably for the greater good at the time. Maybe, I don't know. We can argue the merits of religious dogma as a formation factor of civilization until we're blue in the face. But yeah, commands are about control. Commandments are about control.
However, that is an easy way for a society to do that kind of thing. I mean, we think if you're a parent, if you've ever said to your child, because I say so, firsthand about how vacuous that is. Saying because I say so normally is because you don't want to take the time to try to explain all of the relevant decisions. No, I don't want you to run out into the street, because then you can get hit by a car, or you can cause an accident and have somebody else get hurt, things like that. It's easier to say that, or it's easier to just say, well, I'm the parent and I said no, and so that's what you must do. It's convenient and easy to have that obedience formed morality, but it's not quite as it doesn't quite give the protections in the long run, I don't think.
And then, of course, the extension on that is do what I say because I say so, and if you don't, I'll hurt you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and this difference between control and principle, it's the same difference between religious thinking and skepticism or critical thinking, and it's also the exact same thing between an authoritarian regime and democracy. And in one, you got authority that comes from up high, and on the other one, you have to find common ground with other people to determine what's the best way to reach your goals. And I think that goes deep into how humans think in general and all of psychology. But yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this, because it's all connected, basically.
For sure. And Cindy, I think I completely agree with pretty much everything you've said here on this.